cutting the thing, whatever those little things that they do. Yeah, that's it. Ting. Okay, so we're talking about an angel in the guitar community.
A saint, if you will.
And I think it's funny, too, because I don't know if he started out trying to be an angel.
I don't either.
But, like, what he has done, it reminds me of some of these, like, leaders of their industries from, like, Microsoft and stuff. Like, because you see Bill Gates, and that guy was a shark. And he destroyed everyone else out there in the world. And now he's, like, pretty much, like, educating a continent on his dime. But, I mean, we're going to get right into it. Like, this guy has shaped so many of the guitars that we love outside of his own brand and, like, countries and just the way the industry thinks.
It's true.
Mr. Bob Taylor.
Bob Taylor.
Bob Taylor, nice to meet you. I wish you were Bob Taylor. Wouldn't
that be great if I was Bob Taylor?
I mean, I've talked to Bob Taylor before. He's super nice, too.
He is super nice.
He's really friendly. Like, and Andy is
also super nice.
I mean, if you ever get a chance to see Andy and you're living in Southern California, just have a drink with him, talk about surfing. He's just so nice. You know, it's not business at all, and you're dealing with high-value business, obviously, when you talk with them, as us as a guitar shop in particular, but it's just fun.
It is fun. It almost makes you question yourself because he's so nice. You're like, God, I'm not this nice. We're not that nice.
No, it's
we would like to be.
No,
but we're not.
But let's talk. So nice. No, let's talk about why. And I don't care if he's nice. There's a lot of nice guitar people, but like Bob's done things that is. What should we start with? Like, which one do you think?
So since we already talked about Andy a little bit, let's talk about Bob. So obviously Bob Taylor was sort of running things for
Kurt Lustig.
And Kurt Lustig, obviously. But
I thought thinking of him as like the Steve Jobs and the Wozniak. Well, I can't say his name again. I just went blank. God, correct me on anything. Just I watched too much Silicon Valley and just fried my brain.
So those guys obviously running the show, but as a CEO, Bob has sort of brought in this guy, Andy Powers, totally encouraged him to run with his vision for this company that he's helped create so that he could basically focus on conserving a resource that we all love as guitar players, and that is the wood that we need to have these guitars that we love.
And just the fact that, before we get into the wood, just the fact that he stepped back.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I've reached this point in my life, I want to step back and I'm going to bring you in as a partner. You're being financially compensated, but I'm also giving you the vision of my line that I've built with Kurt over the past few decades, and I want you to build what you build.
No micromanaging, no, hey, you have to do this, hey, you have to stick within these guidelines.
And like they wanted, when they were looking for someone, like, I mean, they found Andy, like he's a Southern California man. Like he has that spirit and that energy.
Yes, he does.
And that's important to Bob.
Yep.
And besides his encyclopedic knowledge of all things guitar, acoustic and electric, and he's a phenomenal player.
He is really a good player.
You do a whole thing on Andy Powers, but we're not going to do that because he gets enough praise. Sorry,
that's right.
Andy.
Back to
enough
Bob.
for you. Yeah, Bob, that beautiful man. That beautiful Patrick Stewart man that I love.
That's true.
No, but anyway, so like he is his Ebony project.
He loves Ebony. And he, it's really, I watched a video a couple days ago where it's actually Bob talking about Ebony, and he was saying, that's a resource that we were really bad about going into places and just literally using every bit of ebony that was there, like nothing left.
Well, the saddest part is we would use it, we'd harvest it, we'd throw out 75% of it
because we wanted this certain
pure
dark
black
color.
Because that's what we've always been used to with like the Martin guitars in particular. It's like no sap, no coloration in the grain. We just want black ebony. And then Andy eventually, he said, "Hey, we're done with that." And then now it's become something we have customers always want more striping.
They want more striping.
Oh, can I get stripe? I don't want that black stuff.
Well, it's funny. I feel like, obviously we saw that with Taylor first, and now it's sort of filtered out to almost every brand, And
then by doing that, he's not just helping ebony alone, and that's one thing. But because one of the things, like for every tree they cut down, they plant more. So that in the future, but he's set up an entire economy and industry in Africa to benefit Africans.
In Cameroon, Crelicam.
Yes, isn't that amazing? It's like it's
cool.
A whole village, it's a whole factory, it's a whole and it's expanding.
Well, and he's worked with the folks there to help them to have an industry to learn how to do it sustainably and ethically. It's so that
because that is their resource.
Yeah, of course.
Like we mine, say you mine gold out in the gold rush and oil and. Ebony is an expensive resource.
That's right. So that's pretty amazing. And he didn't do that just for Taylor. Like he invited all these other companies, PRS, Guild, Martin, Fender, Collings. There's more even to partner with him in that.
No, it's funny because if you love Fender and you're like I don't like Taylor's or something for some weird reason, like they're all interconnected. Again, like Fender, like if you have an Acoustasonic, Tele or Strat, all the knobs and the boards are from Taylor. That's it. He makes those and mills those ebony knobs and he sends them to Fender.
Well, all those companies see the value in what he's doing, and as far as trying to make sure that this stuff is around and it's sourced the right way, and that we're not screwing people over.
Yeah, so that his environmental consciousness, his idea to actually create an economy for people outside of his own personal benefit.
Yes.
Thumbs up to that. Let's talk about what he's done with other guitar makers.
Let's talk about Breedlove guitars.
Yes.
So I think this is an incredible story. So there is a guy named Larry Breedlove, and then his partner in Breedlove Guitars was actually Steve Henderson. Those guys worked at Taylor. They were Taylor employees.
Most people don't know that.
They don't necessarily know that, but they were Taylor employees, and they started to talk and say, hey, maybe we want to have our own guitar company.
And I bet Bob was like, no.
Absolutely not. Get back to work,
back
losers.
to work or you're fired. Or,
actually, Bob would bring them into his office. And they say this. This is from their own mouth, saying that, hey, you couldn't talk about the success of Breedlove without saying what a great guy Bob Taylor is, because he actually allowed them to use Taylor's actually newly acquired CNC stuff to build their molds and jigs while they were working for Taylor.
Can you imagine like Sony and like Microsoft and no, let me help you build these microchips.
Here, please compete with us.
Samsung and Apple, let's just collaborate together on this.
So not only did he do that, after they did that and they were ready to go out on their own, and they're in Oregon.
Right.
So then he said, hey, you guys are going to need money getting started. You're going to need capital. So he said, what if Taylor, we're really busy as well. Taylor's doing well too, and we can't keep up with our service work. What if we send you all of our service work? You do that, you'll get paid, you'll have access to dealers, you'll build a reputation, and it helps us all. So he did that, and they did that for like a year until they got busy enough that they couldn't do it anymore.
I mean, it's funny because like we send people to other guitar shops with things we don't carry all the time, and people are baffled by that. I learned that on Miracle on 34th Street. It's just totally what you're supposed to do. It's a nice thing.
Maybe that's why we like Bob so much.
But this is like
try to do that too.
On a different scale.
I mean, like a much different
scale.
scale.
Let me just like have all my warranty work here. Here's how we build these guitars. And they built a really successful business.
They did.
I actually own one Breedlove. I have one of the Revival series, Brazilian Rosewood Breedlove, like a triple op slope shoulder type. It's awesome.
And actually 4 years after Breedlove started, Larry's brother came on to Breedlove. Larry went back to work for Taylor.
So Breedlove went back to Taylor.
Yeah, and he is
cool.
It has always been a very influential voice at Taylor Guitars, and in fact, at one point was over the R. Taylor. You remember the R. Taylor line?
Yeah.
He was really influential.
That's really funny. I didn't know that was him. So that's not the only company he's helped.
He's helped all sorts of folks.
Martin as well.
Yeah.
They collaborate. Like Chris and Bob are like they're not enemies. Like they work together to help streamline production and make it better.
We talked in an earlier video. He worked with a guy named Tom Anderson.
What do you do with Tom?
They figured out Taylor, if you keep up with Taylor, if you read your Wood and Steels, you know that Taylor has this really cool UV system where they cure finishes. So those guys developed that together, and a ton of high-end acoustic guitar companies use that now.
And he also worked with one of our favorite guitar companies, Loudon.
Ooh.
Now, when Loudon launched the new Sheeran line, they had the Taylor family was like, hey, we would love to help. Because that's an awesome idea of building sustainably sourced, like fallen timbers, leather woods, built in the UK, Northern Ireland.
Yep.
By your people there, not having to outsource it all over the place and send a carbon footprint of nightmares of sending freighters everywhere. You're building it in one of the same places you build your Loudons, but an affordable piece. Let me help you. I know how to do that, and they know how to do that.
Pretty nice.
Because the GS Mini is pretty much the most dominant small size guitar.
It's true.
And every other company is making one, like from Loudon, their Sheerans, to the Martins and their little juniors.
Yep.
The triple out juniors and whatnot.
Yep.
But the GS Mini is the footprint, the fingerprint.
Absolutely.
For everything. It's hard to beat just the GS Mini mahogany.
I mean, they're so good.
And the GS Mini Koa is the #1 selling guitar for Taylor, hands down.
Yeah.
And it sells more than the entire Guild line does, just that one guitar. It's just an idea of how many of those that they're just made and sold every year. It's just baffling to me. But this is something he's doing not for the benefit of Taylor, but for the benefit of the guitar community and the benefit of the environment. And it's just neat when you see someone get to this level of success. that they can step back from the corporate bottom line, which is important.
It is.
Because they provide thousands of jobs across
Right.
the world, but they can do something positive for other people starting businesses, other countries trying to survive and sort of resource their own natural resources, and just making it better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a hats off to Bob Taylor. On that
Hats
one.
off to Bob Taylor. Absolutely.
I've never seen him wear a hat.
I'm not either.
But, usually inside when we see him. So that'd be weird.
I can imagine him in a hat, but
Andy wears
Andy
those
has a
little
really cool
cap
hat.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, seriously. So hey, let us know your experiences with, Bob, if you've had any. Your experiences with Taylor.
Yep.
Like he actually reads most of those things that come into the Wood and Steel. Like you can't read all of them, but he reads them and he responds. He's very active in that. And just let us know like your personal experiences you've had with him.
we would love to hear about it in the comments. While you're there, click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell so you don't miss videos in the future. And we appreciate you hanging out with us and watching.
I appreciate you talking with me, Jonathan.
I appreciate you letting me talk with you.
That's silly. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. See y'all later.